Sitting there and I'm finishing cleaning it.
Hey everybody, this is Matt and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. It's New Year's Rockin' Eve here at Texas Toast Guitars, huh, Chris?
What are you going to wear tonight to the living room party?
I don't even know if I'm going,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I have no idea if I'm even going to be a part of it. But no, I think that I'll probably be asleep by about 8 o'clock tonight. And my dog will wake me up when my neighbors start shooting off fireworks. So anyway, so guys, thanks for tuning in to another wildly exciting episode of the Thursday night live Q&A. Brought to you in part by our friends at Flipside Music, the great American guitar store. I don't know where my Flipside Music, here it is, Dory. Flipside Music, the great American guitar store. If you're in the Denver area, go in and check out Ike, Dylan, Nico, and MJ. It's rare to see Ike at the shop anymore, though, isn't it?
Well, it seems like his whole life has been one household tragedy after another.
Yeah.
Recently.
Yeah.
Yesterday, his washing machine went kablooey all over his floor.
That's a bummer.
And yeah, he's had lots of fun like that. So.
But anyway, so if you're in Denver, stop in and Dylan will give you a big kiss on the face, and maybe not. And but if you aren't in Denver, you can shop online. Flipside Music. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They've got lots and lots of cool stuff, including some Texas Toast stuff. Let's see. We have another brand new sponsor, and that is Aqua Coat. For all of your grain filling and pore filling needs, Aqua Coat is a water-based grain filler. This is the high performance. Sometimes I get it mixed up and I call it high speed grain filler. It's not. It's high performance. Works really great. We use this on all of our stuff before we use the Simtex sealer. And the good people at Aqua Coat have decided to give you guys a 10% discount if you type in, what is it? It's TX. It's in the thing here. It's actually in the description below. Texas Toast 10 at checkout for 10% off one of these deals of Aqua Coat, and it'll save you a couple bucks. So that's cool. I'd also like to thank our friends at Guitar Wood Experts, Dan and Calvin over there. I talked to Dan just the other day, and he's doing great. And he's, I don't know, he's probably got even more hair and beard than he did before. He's really fuzzy, and it's wintertime there. They're way up north, so you got to stay warm. So anyway, Dan and Calvin at Guitar Wood Experts, Texas Toast, again, it's all down in the description below, guys. Texas Toast 15 for 15% off. And of course, our good friends at Bitterroot, John and Cheryl at Bitterroot, give them a call, check them out for all of your guitar parts, wholesale kind of prices, and you can even get 15% off there too by typing in TXTOAST at checkout and get 50% off your Bitterroot order. So we'll remind you guys that all of that information is in the description below, but let's jump into some questions. I don't normally do this, Chris, but I have some questions that people sent me in email form. Okay. Normally what happens if you send me an email and ask me a question, I go, hey, that's cool. Will you please ask that at our live stream on Thursday, because it kind of helps build the momentum of that. But these came in, and I'm looking at my computer right now. The first one came from BK, and he says, I have a young friend who is taking serious interest in becoming a luthier. Is there any way to gift your online classes? Yes, there is every way to do that. Just let me know where you want to send the, I'll send the links to the online classes to whomever, or I'll send them to you, and then you can send them to, to this person. So yeah, we'll try to work with you as best we can on that. So if you want to give the online classes as a gift, you absolutely can do that, and we will go out of our way to help you do that. Speaking of online classes, Chris, I don't know if you noticed, but I added 2 online classes this morning.
Oh, did you? I didn't notice that.
Yes, I did. I added February and March online classes, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about those. But if you guys are chomping at the bit for the next online class, that's February 4th, March 4th, and March, 5th, 6th. So and we'll tell you guys more about that here in just a little while. Let's see, one more email question here. Matthew Miller writes, I'm looking into a thickness planer and thickness sander. Which one do you recommend I invest in first? I think that's a terrific question, actually. What if it was you, Chris? How would you roll?
I would get the sander first.
Me too. Every time.
Yeah.
Every single time.
You can do everything that you could do with the planer. It's just going to take longer.
Yeah.
Plus, you can do all the stuff that you can't do with the planer, which is what the sander excels at.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I would add to that, and not that you missed this part, but I would spend more money on the sander than the planer. Get the best, biggest, widest, closed uppest thickness sander you can. Those open end ones kind of have the tendency to flex a little bit in my experience, though I have not used the Jet. I've used the kind of the middle of the road brand. I think our old one was like a Ryobi or something. I can't remember. And it was okay.
Is that the one that only had the one?
It was closed on one side, and
yeah.
so it could, and it was old too. I bought that thing used.
I think as they get older, the chance for it to come out of adjustment,
Out of parallel.
And especially
there's no
if you're
fixing
using
that.
it, there's really no
Yeah.
way to fix it. And especially if you're using it like we were to thickness stuff, not just sand stuff.
Right.
I think the original intention of those was to make life easier if you had to sand a table, and then you'd run it through at like 80, and then you'd switch grits and run it through at 120, and then go through all the grits, and it was faster. They call those a time saver, and the reason they call them a time saver is because they
Save
got
time.
it, save time. And I think that's what the whole point of that. It wasn't to thickness those. So check out the Grizzly or the Perform-X or something like that. The closed one on both sides will do you right. And as far as planers go, the only thing that I can recommend to you is get one that can be upgraded to a helical. What are those little pieces?
The Sheelix cutters.
Yeah, but what are the pieces called that are the carbide? The replaceable carbide. Get the Sheelix cutter with the replaceable carbide cutting blades that are on a helix, and whatever planer you get, make sure you can upgrade to that. Trust me, you'll want to. Okay?
And I would say get one if the next wider one isn't prohibitively more money, get the wider one.
Yeah.
Because some of the cheap ones won't do some widths of bodies, so then you're stuck with it not doing everything you'd like it to do.
Yeah.
If you can.
And the Sheelix doesn't just cut it better, it does it more quietly.
It absolutely is better in every regard. Mrs. Toast is in the background here, and she is might chime in, might not. We don't know.
Yeah.
So guys, as you know, this is the show where we answer all of your questions. Chris and I both have screens in front of us, so we are ready to take your Are you up to speed with?
Yeah, I think I am.
All right, let's jump in.
Doug Santinello asked
Hey, Doug.
a question about a buffer he got, but I'm not sure which buffer it is, so fill us in on which one it is, and then we'll get back to you, Doug.
I
So
wonder if
that's
it's
the
a
first
stand
question.
buffer or a...
Yeah, I don't know, so I thought I'd get him to
Doug
clear
likes
that
the
up.
good stuff, so I bet you...
Well, he bought it
it's-
at Harbor Freight, so...
Okay, so
So
it
we'll
might be a
see.
DA one then.
Yeah,
okay.
maybe. Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, it could also just be a buffing wheel.
Okay.
And the other thing, too, if you can, type in a bunch of question marks before your question. It helps me see what are questions or what are just people talking.
Because, you guys have your own online thing going. So,
and that's cool, too. Broke Man Fishing asks, I just bought a guitar. It's coming from Canada. I live in a desert region, and how long should I let it acclimate before I play it?
Well, since we don't know if it's an acoustic or a solid guitar, let's do both.
Okay.
If it was me, and we don't know if it's a lacquer finish or a polyester finish. If it's cold where you live and it's coming from somewhere cold, at least bring the box in from the cold and let it get up to room temperature. At the very least, do that.
With either one?
I would say with anything, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll
Let's
go with
do that.
Yeah.
And then if it was me though, once that's done, I'd just open it up.
Yeah.
You know, but I know that there are some people that like to wait.
With both an electric and an acoustic?
Yeah.
I would too. I wouldn't leave a guitar in the box or even take it out of the box and leave it in the case and not open it up and play it, because it can take a long time for it to completely acclimate.
Yeah.
Humidity doesn't just happen overnight.
When-
And you're not gonna, other than the finish proponent of it, and if it's nitro and it checks and does all that stuff, other than that, you're not gonna hurt it by introducing it to its new environment.
You're going to eventually introduce it.
Yeah. So
Chris and I went to Nashville one year for the NAMM show, and everything was set up here in Colorado fine, which is very dry. And we went to Nashville, very not dry. And in a couple of days, we had to tweak some truss rods and stuff like that. So yeah, I would, if it's cold and it's been sitting in a cold truck or something, let it get to room temperature. And other than that, you know, then go crazy. If you want to wait 24 hours, though, if you can, it's not going to hurt, but I don't think it's going to help either.
No, I don't. Yeah, it's not gonna do anything. All right. Sonic Counselor asks,
Sonic,
how would you go about cutting the angles on Firebird body wings? My understanding is they are angled on both sides.
I don't know that they are. On Firebird body wings.
Flying V.
No, Firebird.
So we're talking about a through neck guitar
Yeah,
with
so-
wings.
Did Chris Bullis
So the
ask this
origin-
question?
No, Sonic,
okay.
Sonic
Counselor.
Sonic Counselor did. It is my understanding. So the thing about the Firebird is it had a nine piece neck, lots of walnut and maple, and I think that it went from the neck and then splayed out and then came to. But I don't know that there's any angles on that. It could be a wedge shape. Will you hand me that one of those neck templates,
This one?
please? Yes, ma'am. So if you have something like this, it is. Imagine this was the body part, and it's thicker here than it is here. But I don't think it's angled like I don't think that they're angled. I think they're flat. I'll have to look that one up though. Do you? Let me know more about that. I'm not 100% familiar. It is my understanding though that the neck on the Firebird comes to here, and then gets wider and then goes through the rest of the body. It doesn't just continue on a minute of angle kind of a thing that's wider here and narrower here all the way to the strap button and the nut. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think there's any other angles that you need to worry about there. But I could be wrong.
There you go. All right. So Doug Sanello cleared up. He says it's the same buffer we have. So it's the bench mounted.
Oh, for frets.
Yeah. Buffing wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that under power, it's really wobbly and shakes.
Ours does too.
I bought a Harbor Freight buffer, but it wobbles terrible. Is there a trick to balance the pad? So we clamp it down really tight to the bench.
Yeah.
You
And
said that wrong.
clamp it down to the bench.
Jed.
Oh.
Clamp it, Jed. Yeah.
I wonder. I wonder because our buffer just has one great big wheel on it, and the other thing has essentially nothing.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's why it's so wiggly. Although I think it's always been wobbly as
Yeah,
well.
it could be that. It could be that the buffing pad isn't right. If it spins and it looks nice and even, but it just rattles all over the place, there might be something wrong with the buffer, and I'd take it back and get another one and try it again.
Although having said that, our fret buffer is not anywhere near as smooth of an operator as say like a nice bench grinder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wobbles all over the place.
Yeah. But I might take it back because it shouldn't. If you clamp it down and it still shakes everything, really really bad, so much that you don't feel that you can use it, take it back and get another one, I think. All right, next question. Loring Court asks, what is the minimum thickness of maple stock to make an S or T style neck with Rosewood fingerboard? Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year to you too. The minimum thickness, provided everything is flat and straight, is 0.739 inches. I like to get the stock to be right at 3/4 of an inch, 750. If it's a little less than that, it's probably okay. But the trick to this is, if you go to the lumber yard and you find some 4/4 lumber that looks really nice and is nice and smooth and it's like already 3/4 or maybe a little bit less, as long as it's dead flat and you don't need to machine it at all, 750, 740 is probably fine. The closer to 3/4 of an inch, the better. Having said that, I never, ever, ever buy stuff that's already exactly milled to the thickness that I need, because I know we have to machine it. I know we have to flatten it. So,
yeah, most necks, Tele necks and Strat necks, end up at the thickest with the fretboard on them, not at the frets, just at the wood, at about 9.2 to 9.6, something like that. So you gotta, depending on how thick your fretboard is, you gotta kind of go from there. But yeah, we always get 5/4 stuff that's S3,
and then we run it through the joiner and get it nice flat.
So it's about an inch thick when you buy it, and then we machine it down to that 3/4 to make sure that it's dead flat, because it all starts with dead flat.
But I know I've seen it. I know you've seen it too. There's lumber at Home Depot, for example, that looks pretty good, and if you can get a nice flat chunk, that'll work.
Yeah, but it's dead on at 3/4.
Yeah,
you
can't.
It might even be slightly less.
Might even be a little less.
So, so you got no room for error.
The subtext of that question seems to me, I've got something very thin.
Yeah.
Can I still use it? And I'm just guessing. I don't know, but if you've got something that is a little slimmer than 3/4 of an inch, but is nice and flat, I say go for it. Use it.
Yep. Cool.
Yes, ma'am.
Just real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
Matt Beal says, talking about a video where you talked about Hamer stress neck, and you said there was a blog on the website for it. I'm not finding the blog on the website at all. I went to go look and post a link, so I don't know if there's something that didn't get published in the last update.
Maybe. I don't know.
Just wanted to tell you before I forgot.
And that might be how you cut the wedge on the Firebird. It is possible, because on the Hamer stress neck, remember the center section was actually narrower at the nut than it was at the heel, because the neck is wider at the heel than it is at the nut. So what we didn't want to do was have like a great big 1-inch section of stuff in the middle, and then have, 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, and then go down to like really, really little narrow things. So we actually angled it, I think, or maybe we did. And how would you do that? No, we didn't. We just made it like thinner in the center. The center section was thinner. But if you wanted it to be a wedge in the center section to be a wedge, you would need to put your, one way you could do that is put your piece on a sign plate. That is something that can be adjusted to be different angles, and send it through your sander, planer, etc., etc.
Okay, cool. Chris Bullis wants to know, how hard do you think it would be to do a flying V with Les Paul style controls?
The only real issue would be the switch would have nowhere to go, because there's no guitar there, right?
Yeah.
And I think you'd run out of room. Les Paul style controls, the same number of controls. There were flying V's with independent volume and tone controls. I think the 70 something flying V, 78 flying V had a bigger pick guard and more more controls, and I want to say independent volume and tone controls for each pickup, you could do it. You couldn't really put, like I said, you couldn't put the switch in the same location because there's no guitar there. But yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that hard to do. I don't like the Flying V's with the giant pick guards.
I'm not a super fan either.
It's too much plastic.
Yeah. Generally speaking, I'm not a fan of pick guards aesthetically.
Right.
You know. Well, how do you come down on that?
I like pick guards on some things, but I like them to. I don't like the entire front of the guitar to look like a pick guard.
One big pick
with
guard.
with just minimal controls in it.
And that guitar really does look like one big pick guard.
Yeah, so
the Flying V with the big,
I get the reason for pick guards, and like a Strat. To me, the Strat pick guard's probably the best pick guard because there's no real wasted space.
Yeah, everything's got something.
Yeah, everything's there for a reason.
From a design standpoint, the pickguard makes so much sense.
Yeah, from a
working guitar thing,
it's handy. The funny thing on the Strat is that you have to fish two wires through a little hole to the jack.
Yeah,
I'm always surprised that they decided that was okay.
And it was so popular that they decided never to use that thing again.
That jack, yeah.
Someone's gonna go, yeah, man, I saw when Leo Fender was at Fender, they did. Yeah. That's what I mean.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, I haven't been keeping up.
That's okay. There's lots of good stuff that we can talk about while you catch up. One of the things is you and I went to source some lumber the other day for some projects, and we got a good deal. And we want to pass the good deal on to everyone watching. Let's show everybody what we got, Chris. These are one piece. Whoa, they're big. These are one-piece poplar blanks, and they're 15 and a half by 21 inches, and we have one short one that's 15 and a half by big enough to do a Telecaster, but that's it. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 7 of these. If you guys are interested, I looked it up today. Stuart McDonald sells these for $79.
Not this size though.
They're smaller, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They sell a one-piece poplar blank for $79. They're on sale right now for $71. And you got to ship it and everything, but it's a nice one-piece poplar blank. I think that we should sell these to you guys watching right now. Like I said, I've got half dozen or 7 or 8 or whatever. $50 a throw. What?
50?
You want to go lower than that?
Can we do a little better?
Yeah, okay. So why don't we go, if you guys send me an email, because these aren't on the website right now. If you want one of these blanks, like I said, they're one-piece poplar and they're big enough to do a bass. You could do a Thunderbird something on the $40. How about that? $40, and you get one of our new stickers with it.
You get a sticker?
What do you think of that? So if you guys want to take advantage of this deal, send me an email and with your PayPal information. I got to ship it to you too, and I can't do shipping for $40. But I will do the one-piece blank plus one of the Texas Toast stickers for $40 until supplies run out. So if you guys want one, let me know. And we'll for everyone who goes, Stuart McDonald costs too much. We'll undercut Stu Mac by $30.
And these are, how thick are they now?
They're 1 7/8, 1 15/16.
Yeah, they're plenty thick for any project that you want to do.
Yeah.
Too. They're big enough in all directions for anything you'd want to do. You could make a mini table with this.
You could make
just
a maxi
4
table
legs
with
onto it. Done and done.
Yep. That would make a
nice tray ever.
Nice size desk for a youngster. Okay, are we back up to speed?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Larry G wants to know.
Larry.
I never liked the body joint on Strats and Teles. I'm in the process of making neck with 7-degree headstock and a heel like a set neck. Any pros or cons? You should watch our reveal tomorrow.
You should watch our reveal tomorrow, Larry, because we're going to show you exactly that. Yes, there are pros. One of them is that you can make the heel smaller and you can make the neck slide under the pickup part of the way. So that's cool.
So you can get rid of a lot of that tongue that
Yeah,
you need
yeah.
to hold a traditional neck on.
Yeah. And you can make it round instead of square. So if like one of those angles kind of, hits you funny, you can do that. You can make, one of the things that I'm not a super fan of on Fenders is you got so much body under the neck. So what we did on, when we do that, we take and make the neck joint a full 1 inch deep or more. And that I think that evens out. I like the look of a little less material on a little more neck, a little less body on a little more neck, if that makes sense. The cons, of course, are you can't use the gigantic cottage industry of Fender parts for that. You got to go off the reservation a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And you got to figure out how you're going to do if you're doing a pick guard, how are you going to do that?
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to make it all square up? But yeah, it's pretty neat.
And we're going to be revealing that guitar, a guitar very much like that tomorrow, Larry. In fact, it's not very much like it. It's exactly that.
It is just exactly like that. Charlie Mike Guitars has a interesting insight.
Is it? Hey, guess where I'm going to be next week?
No, he says that's not Poplar, guys. It's Black Larry. Don't let them con you.
Okay.
It is Black Larry. You're right.
It's actually not Black Larry. It's White Larry. But okay, it's got a little. Yeah, it might have a
black
stick
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tan Larry.
Gray Larry.
Whoops. Sorry about that.
What else we got there?
Beavis
Chris?
Christ is talking back to never
Some
mind.
Guy. Okay. All right.
There's a Beavis Christ.
That's a good handle.
That is a
Fucking
good one.
awesome.
Yeah, never mind. It was a different thing.
Oh, okay.
Any benefits in using Brazilian rosewood over Indian or other rosewoods other than name appeal?
Well, I don't think that you can discount the panache of Brazilian rosewood.
Yeah.
Whether there is a sonic difference or not, there is definitely something to be said for, hey, this is a Brazilian rosewood fretboard neck something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is there a sonic advantage to using it? I think it depends on who you ask. If you ask Paul Reed Smith, he will say yes, and he will point you to him doing this to a guitar with neck blank, and it go bing 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 bing, and it'll ring out and be wonderful. And yeah, that's if you play guitar like this, then absolutely that will then you want that. But as you have pointed out so many times, as soon as you wrap 200 pounds of mat around that neck, it all of a sudden stops ringing like that. The note that you get when you hold it out here and tap it like this is going to be very different when you put My Big Fat Belly on it and wrap around it and start playing it. It's not going to do that. You know what I mean? So I think that the whole notion of tapping on woods to see what they will do sonically is not valueless, but I think there's a lot more emphasis placed on that than ought to be. What do you think?
I think that's true. Yeah. As you were talking about that, I was thinking, what do they do with the wood that they deem not toneful enough to be built into a guitar?
They give it to Maui and he burns it in his garage?
Yeah, I guarantee they don't do that. They build guitars with it.
Yeah. Now acoustic tops and acoustic sides and backs, that's a whole different thing.
Mm-hmm.
And while I don't think there's any advantage to using one type of wood over another in an electric guitar, I absolutely believe and have seen with my own eyes and heard with my own ears the differences between, say, a Masonite acoustic and a sort of so-so cedar top acoustic. you can tell immediately, you know. But on an electric, I'll go to my grave thinking that that's mostly hokum. But I don't know. I don't want you guys to think that, you know, I don't care about that stuff, because I do. But the fact of the matter is that Brazilian rosewood versus Indian, it sure sounds neat. And if you have a customer that wants to pay you extra to have that, then by all means. What do you think? Where do you come down?
Yeah, I think that's true, and I think we've talked about this before with the tone wood thing and all of that. And I do think there's a difference when you're playing an electric guitar. Acoustically, you can definitely hear some differences in woods and bridges and things like that. But that's just the sound of the string acoustically bouncing off of that wood.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of that translates electrically to the amplifier.
Yeah. Hey, here's one. Here's a way to go. If you were making yourself one of our new challengers that we're doing for 2021, what kind of fretboard would you use?
Dark.
Yeah, me too. I would. It wouldn't upset me one way or the other.
Yeah, I would go more on just the basic color of it.
Yeah.
And how cool it looks with the rest of the guitar.
Yep.
Rather than thinking I'm going to get any real sonic difference based on any of that.
Yeah.
So.
And if you use pedals at all,
well,
that whole tone wood thing is right out the window.
Well, if you use any even like distortion.
Yeah.
If you're not playing crystal clean, clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, I can totally hear the Rosewood fingerboard through the EMGs and the dual gain of this amp.
And the five delay pedals I got going so I can sound like that guy from U2. It depends. It depends on all that stuff. But do not discount. Hey, that's cool. I want it.
Yeah.
That we call it. First, cool. Is there any actual real value to it? I would say no. Second, cool. I want it because it's cool. You bet. Absolutely, all day long.
Yeah. John Rendell wants to know, do you know if luthier Gene Matisco is still alive and working?
John, I'm sorry. I don't know who that is, much less their condition.
Yep.
But if you have more information on that, let me know. I hope that they're still kicking and doing and making.
Yeah. Matt Beals, another question, please. I want to build a set neck guitar, but I don't want simply to cut the headstock out of the blank. Can I scarf a 2-inch neck blank?
I want to build a set neck guitar, but I don't want to cut the... Okay, so he wants to maximize the wood yield.
Maybe. Well, but he's talking about using 2-inch neck blank and then doing a scarf joint with that.
Yeah, I would say you absolutely can, depending on your how good you are at making scarf joints. So yes.
Yeah, you can do that. How thick is our set neck maple blank when we start?
1.5 inch.
Yes.
And that gets us our headstock angle and our heel angle and everything in between. And there's some hunk cut out, but that's okay.
Yeah. So if you have a 2-inch neck blank, there's really no reason to put a scarf joint in it unless you're thinking that the scarf joint is going to somehow be stronger.
Well, unless you're doing a 14 or 17 degree headstock.
Right, but he's talking about well, yeah, that's true.
So if you're doing a Gibson angle headstock, first of all, I would have to go, why are you doing that? And if you want to scarf it, sure.
Yep.
The whole let's deep dive into scarf joints real quick.
Okay.
What's the advantage to using a scarf joint?
The advantage of using a scarf joint is you can start with thinner pieces of wood.
Yeah. The number one advantage to using a scarf joint is you get more neck for less wood.
Yeah.
You waste less material. The whole notion of it's stronger than the other thing is only partially correct. If you have an angled headstock that's so ridiculously angled, then yeah. If you have a 17 or 14 degree headstock angle, then yes, a scarf joint is potentially it is more resistant to shock than a one-piece neck. But it is far less resistant to heat than a one-piece neck. As you and I have both seen, someone left their bass in the car. It was at a scarf joint, and it started, the strings, the glue melted a little bit. The strings started yanking on the headstock scarf joint, and it sucked it into the neck. Into the fretboard, and was all kinds of cattywampus. So the advantages of one are not like without their own, subtle other nuances of it. It's not so universally great that everybody wants it. You know what I mean? So I would say that if you have a 2-inch, did he say 2-inch blank?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, man. I would just lessen your headstock angle, in order to not have to scarf joint the wood. Although, if you really, really wanted to have that increased angle, yes, you can scarf the wood.
Yeah.
Sorry that took me so long to say. I didn't really quite understand until I got going.
Until you got going?
Yeah.
Okay. Jeff Parker says, I do rosewood or ebony because feel of real wood. Maple usually has something on it.
That's very true.
That's very true, and that's one of the reasons that I don't always like using maple for fingerboards is because you do have to put something on it or it gets dirty instantly.
It gets
and
really
looks
grimy.
awful. Even if you do oil on it, it still looks really, really bad. And then you have to deal with, putting something on it and doing fretwork and all of that.
Yeah.
It's much easier. And I actually think that's one of the reasons that Fender switched or was a consideration.
Didn't Leo Fender say that he saw some guitars on TV and he's like, "Oh, those look horrible. I want."
Very old, and it looked a little bit classier.
Yeah.
With the darker wood, but I think the increase in or decrease in production time was probably a little bit of a factor too, because you can mask it and then you oil it and it's
Bada bing.
and you're good to go. So and I think darker wood just looks usually.
I think it looks right on a guitar.
Yeah. There's some guitars that look good with maple, but like a Les Paul with a maple fingerboard.
Yeah. That's it looks so peculiar.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, Doug Santianello's got Les Paul fretboard that we are doing. That's maple with a maple
I meant
neck.
except for that one. That one's
But
really
that's
cool.
a little different because it's not just like a straight up Les Paul. Everything else is a Les Paul with that.
Yeah.
Doug kind of lots of maple and walnut and laminates and things like that. So it's a different guitar altogether. Sorry. Do we have some super chats? Did we?
We Battle Axe Guitars
Hey,
says
Sam.
sorry you missed the start. Happy New Year's, guys.
Happy New Year to you,
He says
man.
it's 2021 there.
Oh,
How is
good.
the new year?
Yeah, how
How's
you liking
going
it so far?
Yeah.
One of the things that we do a lot is we have online classes that start at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. And if you want to get in on it, well, you have to be watching TV at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. We have a lot of people who watch us who are in the UK and all over the world. And thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in. One of the things that we're doing in March is we are offering a build a guitar body with tools you have. So hand routers and stuff like that. We're not going to use the beloved pin router. We're gonna go old school with this, and we're offering it twice. And you get both of them for the same. You can watch. So let me back up. I'm already getting kind of beside myself here. This was Chris had this great idea. What if we offered a class at 2 different times? So what we came up with was we're going to have this build a body class that's going to go longer than 2 hours. And we're going to do one on Thursday at noon. So if you're in the UK, it'll be 6, I think, there. So it'll be noon here and it'll be 6 o'clock there PM. So you won't like totally miss out. You can watch and you'll be done with work, ostensibly. And then we're going to be doing that very, very same class again on like 2 days later on a Saturday. So if also at noon, So if you miss the Thursday one, you can't do it because you got to take your kids to karate or whatever. You can watch the what was that? Soccer, sure. You can watch the Saturday one. Or if you can't make the Saturday one, well, there's still the Thursday one. If you can't make either one of them, well, you can watch those videos as many times as you want. Anyway, all the links to those videos are in the description below. You can sign up for them, and they're going to be wildly, wildly cool. Sorry.
Cool. There you go. There was a question about the guitar in the car that came apart.
Was it a Gibson Ripper?
Well, yeah. What kind of glue was it? Was it hide glue or was it tight bond?
Beats me. I'm not sure what. It was a Gibson, either Ripper or Grabber. I can't remember. From the 70s.
70s. Early 70s? Mid 70s? I think we looked it up. It was like 77, 78.
Yeah, maybe. So
something like that.
So I can't tell you, while I can't tell you what kind of glue it was, all glue is susceptible to heat. If you look up what kinds of glue Gibson used in the 70s, that'll tell you. Then you'll know. Yeah. But I don't know.
And we didn't bust it all the way apart. We didn't fix it. We built the guy a new neck.
We told him, fixing it would be a fool's errand. It would be way easier to just make you a new neck.
Yeah, and then keep that neck for posterity. So, yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. I have a screen too. We don't have
a. Okay, here you go. Does a water-based clear coat work over an oil-based stain? I don't think so.
Even if it did, would you recommend it?
No. Yeah. I think that would be fraught with problems. I can't imagine how long you'd have to let the oil-based stain set up, dry, cure, whatever you're going to do, and then hit it with water-based clear. Water-based, from what I understand with water-based stuff, is it's particularly susceptible to oils and greases and things like that.
The other thing is it's not particularly hard to mix up your own dye with water. So that'd be perfectly compatible. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would go that route or go, completely the other way.
Yep.
Robert Pritchard asks, what thickness do you go for on just the headstock and the best angle or just straight?
Okay.
So first part, what thickness do you go for on just the headstock?
Right at or just a little bit over a half inch. If it's a little under, that's okay too. But in that like 4.75 to 5.50, right in that decimal for I don't have my thing. I can't do metric conversion. Just right around a half inch. Perfect.
12 centimeters or 12 millimeters.
Yeah. That's right.
12 or 13 millimeters.
We don't know, Robert, if you're using metric or decimal inches. If you're using inches, though, shoot for half inch, a little bit over. You be styling.
Yep. And then the second part was what's best, angle or just straight?
I like angle. I like angled headstocks. The guitar that all the guitars that Chris and I design have angled headstocks. That does not mean that the straight headstock is bad.
Right.
It just means that we don't really do that.
Yeah. There's pros and cons to both. One of the pros of a flat headstock is less wood to make it.
Yeah.
One of the cons is that you probably have to have some sort of string tree or something pushing the strings down.
Or you have to have a special technique for winding that really gets them.
There's some of that. And it's a little bit less labor intensive. There's fewer steps making a flat F-style headstock or neck than something with an angle on it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. A lot of people get wrapped up too in like the strings have to go from the nut perfectly straight to the tuners. And what they're talking about is, like on this, the strings would kind of angle off the nut and they'd break at the nut. not that they're prone to breakage there, but they come straight from the bridge to the nut, and then they take an angle to get, like, say, on this headstock. But no one thinks about the angle this way, where the strings go straight, and then they break over the nut this way. Like, that's okay, but really, if you're getting hung up on straight string pull through the nut, well, isn't every like vantage point angle a bad thing? Whether it breaks off the nut, left to right or up and down, that's all the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's all a potential pinch point. You like that alliteration?
Mm-hmm. I heard bust a nut.
Pinch point, yeah. Potential pinch point. Piss poor pinch point. Planning.
Cecil says flat headstocks are very tough too. They don't break without a lot of effort. That is true.
Absolutely. Have you ever seen a busted Fender headstock?
Yeah.
Have you? Okay.
But not busted off the neck. I've seen like the ball and some of the stuff that everybody gets in trouble for when they copy it from Fender.
Didn't someone come in with break some off? Busted like through the tuning keys? Someone had one of those recently.
Yeah, that can happen when you press ferrules in wrong and stuff like that. But for the most part, I've never seen a headstock break off the neck and be completely unusable.
We've all seen that video of Stevie Ray Vaughan basically surfing on his guitar.
Yeah, pulling it up by the neck and dropping it.
Stuff that you would never do with any Gibson and expect to still be playing.
Yep.
So.
Doc Sultanen wants to know if you plan on making another Mudflap Girl style semi-hollow guitar, what is the thickness of the body before gluing on the top? 1 1/4 or 1 1/2?
Well, of course, it depends on the thickness of the top. I would say probably 1 1/2 plus a 1/4 inch top will yield, obviously, a 1 3/4 inch guitar. That sounds probably just about right. And yes, we are planning on doing another Mudflap Girl guitar.
Yeah.
Because I think they're really, really cool. But it will not be a Telecaster shape. Is that accurate, Chris?
Yes. That's exactly it. It's so accurate, I almost think Doc Sultanen knows something.
It almost means that Doc is kind of thinking,
Oh, I don't know.
Is he being your Ed McMahon right now?
I don't know. No, he might be, although we haven't really talked very much about that. But yes, in 2021, you guys will see a lot more challengers. You'll see challengers with fairly radical departures from the from what you've seen. A carved top challenger will be a thing that we're going to be rolling out here pretty quick. And there's also going to be a new reveal feature. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on this yet, but you know how like sometimes people go, oh man, I missed that one and I really, really wanted it. Or I would get that if it was available in left hand. For both of those people, we have got you covered in 2021. Stay tuned. I think that the reveal on the guitar you are working on today will be the first one that we do like that, right?
Cool. Yeah, that sounds
So that will be the second reveal of 2021. We're gonna unveil a new style of reveal video. Kind of.
Yep.
Ish.
You ready?
I'm ready.
666 Walshinator
Okay.
asks, what should I use for a natural finish if I burn the guitar? So you want something to protect the burn.
Yeah. What?
Ask Ben.
Yeah. Mrs. Toast said, ask Ben.
He lights a lot of stuff on fire.
Okay, I don't know what would be the greatest thing for that. If a wipe-on finish too, it's got to be a wipe-on.
No. He just asked what should I use for a natural finish. So I think what he means is a clear finish. If I burn the guitar,
for me,
what would we use?
Well, if it was me, I would say let's use Simtech.
Yeah.
Because it would look right and it wouldn't get soot all over you when you play it.
Yeah. You're gonna want something fairly hardy, I would think. Jesse from Given Guitars did a little bit of burning on a guitar.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
then just did the regular paint that he would always do as far as Simtech sealer and then regular clear, and that worked really, really well.
And I bet you too, like we would use our durable thin finish technique on that, where we just spray. So you let the wood do whatever it's going to do, and you wouldn't grind on it with sandpaper or anything. It's just you shoot it, basically protects everything. You can spill water on it and not worry about it, and then you won't get all smudgy. You know what I mean?
Jimmy DiResta in the GGBO burnt the holy bejesus out of his guitar, and then rattle canned it with enamel, and
did that lock it in pretty
worked,
good?
Yeah, it actually worked. I think the mistake he made was he used gloss.
Oh, okay.
So it looked kind of weird. He should have used matte.
Yeah,
or
that
flat.
would be
that would have looked a lot better. But yeah, I would think you'd want something fairly thick, especially the more it's burnt, the more stuff you'd want on it.
Yeah, you would. Yeah.
Yep.
That'd be what I'd try. And of course, do a test piece first. You know.
This is a hard question. Michael French wants to know which pickups would make a Tele sound most like a 335.
Well,
this gets into a lot of So one of the reasons that certain guitars sound the way they sound is because of the pickups and where the pickups are located. You know, in relation to the bridge, especially the bridge, and the neck.
I almost wonder if he's calling us out on our whole like there's no sonic difference between this, that, and the other. Probably not.
I don't think so. Well, no, because there's tons of sonic difference, and there's tons of You know, Dylan had a really good video where he went to Guitar Center and compared a Les Paul to a SG, and because those two guitars on paper should sound the same. And they don't.
Very close.
Yeah, and but they sound enough different that there's something going on, and it's because the pickups are located in different places on both of those guitars, even if it has the same pickups. You know, and it's just like.
And rarely do they actually have the same. Like I think the SGs have the 490Ts now, and the Les Pauls have the burst bucker, or whatever. Whatever they come with now.
Yeah.
So I don't know that there is a magic. I'm going to take one pickup out of a Telecaster and put this thing in there, and all of a sudden, my guitar is going to sound like a 335.
Yeah.
I would say that if you wanted to have a Telecaster sound like a 335, a good way to do it would be hollow out most of it and put a plywood maple cap on it, change the scale length, and put 2 humbuckers in it. And that would get really, really close. But having said that, I think that there are cool pickups. I don't know. I would say that if you wanted your Telecaster to have a little less high kind of frequency and sound a little ballsier, I would go with the Seymour Duncan quarter pounder pickup. Now, it's not going to all of a sudden make the guitar sound like a 335, but it'll have a similar output to a humbucker pickup. Something just happened, but
nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
it's tricky. You know, there's no free lunch. I would say if you want to sound like a 335, the easiest way to do it is get a 335. Because it's not like I want my 175 to sound like my Birdland. Or I want my 335 to sound like insert name of other Gibson semi-hollow body. Or I want my Tele to sound like a Strat.
Right.
Or I want my that's easier to do. But to go, I want my Ducati to sound like a Harley. Well, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, not unless you put a V-twin engine in it. So.
You want to go for a ride on my Ducati?
Hey, yeah. Whoop,
Yep.
this my flip side music thing keeps. Okay, what else? We got?
I'm going to say to David Schwab that I respectfully disagree with his opinion.
Okay.
He says that a 335 uses the same pickups as a Les Paul and an SG. It's the weight construction of the guitars, not the pickup placement. They sound different unplugged too.
Yeah,
Of course they sound different unplugged. One of them has giant hollow chambers in it. But I do not believe that the weight of a guitar body affects the outputted sound through an amplifier at all.
Okay.
On a guitar.
Yeah, we could disagree. Yeah. It's
yeah,
not,
and that an SG's body is thinner, and that's why it sounds different through an amp, is hogwash.
I would think
right.
that one of the bigger issues would be that the SG's neck joint is so dramatically smaller, so much smaller than the Les Paul. That if everything else matters and that doesn't, then you're missing a big chunk of it.
Yeah, I think take a look at the guitar and see where the pickup is in relation to the bridge. And all three of those guitars, the pickup will be in a different location than the bridge, and that's
is it?
The main
I didn't
reason.
know that. Yeah,
I'm I know it is different on an SG and a Les Paul, and I bet you even a quarter of an inch is going to change it. You know, as you're playing the guitar and you get closer to the bridge. And the change in sound of the strings, the change in where the pickup sits affects it as well. Yeah. You take two pickups that are identical, like a Les Paul in the old days. Both pickups are identical.
Yeah, that's right. There was
one
no
of them,
bridge or neck.
at the bridge, and one of them in the neck. The neck one's going to sound darker every single time. So where you put the pickup absolutely affects the sound of the guitar.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
But there's a lot going on, guys. It's not just one way is more so. Like I say, pickup placement. I also don't think the last time that I owned both a Les Paul and an SG was actually not that long ago.
Yeah.
And I bought both of them new, and the SG had 490T pickups, and the Les Paul had Burstbucker Pros. So they don't come with exactly the same pickups.
Yeah.
They're close. My thing is, if someone said to me, the neck joint on this is different, and I hear a difference, I'd buy that. I'd buy that all day long. If someone said the headstock thickness is different on this, okay. But yeah, there's some construction techniques that, but yeah, I have a hard time with mass of the guitar has a dramatic endpoint through an amplifier.
Yeah, I think what you have to understand is how the sound of the string gets transferred through the pickup into the amplifier.
Excuse me. Yeah.
And in no portion, it's magnetic, and then it's electric.
And this is I'm sure that there's a whole bunch of comments like, you guys are wrong, you guys are right, you blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
And wood has no part in that equation. Wood's not magnetic.
Yeah. Wood
doesn't, and you're not running
wood
over.
isn't a ferrous material?
No, not to my knowledge. And it's wire and magnets and electricity are the three things that make electric guitars electric guitars.
Is it possible to get two guitars that are identical in every way that sound slightly different?
Well, I don't think there's two pickups that are identical in every way.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's where a lot of that magic lies.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you can get them to sound. I mean, most Les Pauls sound pretty much like Les Pauls if they're all of the same, you know, of the same build. But you know, you start changing stuff around, and it's gonna change the way it sounds.
It gets tricky.
Yeah, I used to believe in all the magic of guitars and wood and tone and all of that, but the more guitars we make, the less that stuff is really true.
Yeah.
And so I just can't adhere to that stuff anymore. So, but if other people want to believe it, that's fine. But to just boldly spout it as gospel, I don't think is
sometimes
the way.
The hardest things to believe in are the things that are the worth believing in the most. you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
My Les Paul sounds cooler than your whatever. Sure. I'm totally down with that. Yeah, I don't this the Thursday thing really isn't a place where we need to argue about semantics of guitar things, but if you guys want to do that, we'll let you run rampant in the comment section, and we will look on as
how does
disapproving
wood
uncles.
absorb the vibrations of the strings
let's move
over
let's
a
move
metal
on.
bridge?
Let's move on. Yeah.
I think we could argue about that all day long, and he's going to believe what he wants to believe.
Yeah,
and I'll believe what I want to believe.
There's no payback for this. If you, I urge you to make your own instruments, and if you want help doing that, Chris and I are more than happy to assist you, and you can go down that path and prove or disprove any theories that you like, and maybe you'll even revolutionize the industry. But yeah. I think that's totally fair. Mm-hmm. Here's one thing that you guys are going to hear a lot from me in 2021 is a 2-word phrase, and it is...
Get training.
Get training. I see a lot of people who are, I'm going to buy all these tools, and I'm going to buy this, that, and the other. And awesome. Do it. Get some training with the tools. Get some training at one of our classes or somebody else's classes. And learn to use the tools that you have. Learn to do some of this stuff. You will spend a little more money on the front end by taking some classes, but you'll save a lot of money on the back end. You won't. You know what I mean? How many things have we wrecked? Did we wreck back in 20 years ago where it was like, well, let's see. We put liquid paper on a bee and it died. I was watching that Step Brothers movie today. Get some training, and especially if you have some high speed, high power, really dangerous tools. Shapers, I get a bunch of Safety Sally people who are like, you need to put guards on this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. And fine. You need to, let me do me. The reason that we use the tools the way that we use them is because we've had close calls before, and we've figured out how to get away with it. And we still have all these, and we still have both of these. And and Mrs. Toast has very, very aptly knocked on wood.
Melamine, but yeah.
So, so get some training with the tools that you have, whether it's a carpentry class at a local, continuing ed kind of thing. If you're lucky enough to live in the Colorado area, I recommend the what is it? Where Steve teaches?
Red Rocks.
Red Rocks Community College. Yeah, they have a great carpentry program there, and or if you don't live, there's lots and lots and lots of places.
I remember in one online class that you did, I don't know, one of the drill press or something got away, and boom, you instantly pulled your hands back, and everyone's like, "That's exactly what you gotta do."
But there's sometimes going like this ain't fast enough, and these tools are not completely safe, and attaching guards to things does not necessarily make them the most safe thing you can possibly do. So get some training, guys, with whatever tools you have. I would love it if you got training from us here at Texas Toast Guitars. If you disagree with our philosophy on wood being magnetic or resonant, there's lots of other places that you can go and get training and help you figure some of this stuff out. So we got anything else, Chris?
No.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for watching. This is our last Q&A of 2021. How many months have we been doing this now? 3?
I think 3, yeah.
What do you think so far?
I like them. They're fun.
I think they're fun too. Yeah. I hope that you guys enjoy the live classes. We've got more of these coming up your way. I'd like to thank Flipside Music, the great American guitar store. Aqua Coat. Remember, if you type in Texas Toast 10 at checkout, you get 10% off. All these codes are in the thing at the bottom here. Bitterroot Guitars, John and Cheryl are super awesome people and give you guys 15% off. And of course, Dan and Calvin at Guitar Wood Experts. They will help you out. If you guys haven't sent me emails yet about this one-piece poplar body blanks, send me email. I will get them out to you ASAP. I don't know what shipping is going to be. We'll have to figure that out. But until next time, this is Matt.
This is Chris.
This is Chris. This is Chris. reminding you that life is short. You might as well have a cool guitar. Get some training on your new tools that everybody got for Christmas. There's lots and lots of good stuff. Doug, we will see you in a few days. I'm taking tomorrow off. I think it's going to be great. Good night, Mrs. Toast, wherever you are. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, you guys. I know you're right there, but it just sounded like it's that whole chesty puller thing. So, yeah.
The calendar changes tomorrow, just like